This is a mat class with the classical Pilates exercises. You lie down on the mat, stretch long, take a couple of deep breaths, pull your legs in, prepare for the 100. Lift your head, neck and shoulders up, stretch arms and legs and start pumping. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. Reach the legs long, reach the spine in opposition. Breathe into the whole rib cage, front, back, sides, and into the length of the spine. Lower the legs if you want a challenge. Keep hugging the midline, reaching and pulling in your low abs. For the roll up, dive forward, and if you don't sit on the middle of the sit bones, bend your knees a little. Roll the spine, roll the pelvis. Roll the pelvis, roll the spine. Hug the midline with your legs. Hug the midline with your arms. Find your low abs in every roll up. Roll over. Roll through your spine. Lift your hips and legs. So you lift the hips to lift the legs. You don't throw the legs overhead. Reach with the legs away from the pelvis. Roll your shoulders on your back to protect your neck curve. One more. Flex the feet, push something away and roll through your spine. Keep one leg up for one leg circle. Make the circles only as big as you can control your pelvis. Find your standing leg pressing into the mat and pulling on this side's low abs in and up. Change legs. Reach the spine. Hug the standing leg into a midline. Pull your low abs up to shorten the side where you have the leg on the floor. Roll up for the exercise rolling like a ball. Keep the tight ball and roll along a line that's in the middle of the mat. Pull your heels to your bottom. Open your elbows a little. Then try when you roll down to find neutral, pelvis and then spine. For the series of 5, lift your head, neck and shoulders and start with single leg stretch. You can pick up the tempo, but stay connected to your center. Pull your knees in, like in double leg stretch. You pull the knees in. Reach the legs to reach the spine. When the legs come in, sit bones reach out. Find low abs and upper abs to curl your spine up in a long C shape. You can reach for the ankle if you can stay with a long spine and don't curl up too high. You want to have space between each vertebra. For lower lift, try to hug the midline with your legs. Try to react with your pelvis in opposition to the movement of your legs. When you lift the legs, reach the sit bones out. When you lower the legs, pull your pelvis in. For the crisscross, turn your rib cage, but keep your pelvis stable. Roll up for spine stretch forward. If you have tight hamstrings, you can bend your knees a little or sit on something. to make the movement of the spine easier. Hug the midline even in this open leg position. For the open leg rocker, reach your legs, try to maintain long arms, and move your pelvis to move the spine and the legs. Maintain a long C shape. Initiate with the movement of the pelvis. Then climb your legs down while you roll pelvis and spine down for the corkscrew. The corkscrew can be done with a stable pelvis or with a moving pelvis. Decide which one it is. When you lift your hips and legs, try not to fling the legs overhead, but lift the pelvis and then the legs come up as well. For the saw, you roll up and sit again on the middle of your sit bones. Twist and reach. While you roll up, you keep on twisting. While you bend down, you twist to get the most out of the movement in your spine. For the swan, we start with a swan preparation. You try to lift your upper body, or your upper back only, 6 to 7 vertebrae of your thoracic spine. We try to do a swan dive with arms behind the body. Keep the midline with your legs and with your arms. For single leg kick, you start in the swan preparation position and you try to find an inner curve in your upper back, which is a reversed curve to our natural kyphosis. For double leg kick, try to roll your shoulders back. This opens the chest. When you kick your legs in, maintain the pelvis in posterior tilt. For the neck pull, it's easier to start sitting up. You lean back, you curl your pelvis and spine and keep it round, then you roll up. Natural curve to go back, round back to roll a little further, and round back to come forward, and then sit up in natural curve. Roll back to the mat and try to come up. Dive forward, lift up, hinge back, and roll very controlled down. For the shoulder bridge, you keep a strong standing leg. You reach your spine in one direction, and you reach the sit bones in the other direction. For the spine twist, it's the same like in the saw or in the spine stretch. You try to sit in the center, on the center of your sit bones. You reach your spine long while you twist it. You start twisting with your head and the rest of the spine follows. You keep the midline with your feet and your legs. For the jackknife, you try to come up right away, which is much harder than swinging the legs overhead and then come up. So you try to lift your hips to lift the legs. Reach your head back, roll the shoulders back, and then for some side kicks. If you don't have your head lying down, you can push it against the first third of the low arm. You press the head back and you press with the arm back. Perhaps it's easier to see on the other side. Yes, so it's not in my hand. The head is pressing into my forearm, the first part above the wrist. When you reach your leg back, you go into posterior tilt. When you reach it forward, you reach your sit bones out. There are some teasers on the way. For teaser 1, you roll your spine and pelvis up and your pelvis down. You try to maintain the legs in one position. For the teaser 2, you try to maintain the upper body in its position and lower and lift the legs. Teaser 3 is a combination of 1 and 2. So body and legs move in opposite directions. Hip circles. Only do them as big as you can maintain your low abdominal control. For swimming, you lift your upper back. You start slowly, and then you can pick up the tempo and do swimming in the rhythm of the 100. Push up into a push-up position for the leg pull down, which is in this case an older version. You turn around for the leg pull up. When you lift your leg, you lift your hip at the same time. Keep a long spine. For the kneeling side kicks, you align heel of hand, knee, and heel of foot in one line. You try to keep your pelvis over the knee. Try to reach your pelvis to the long leg. Reach your spine in one direction and the leg in the other direction. Try to have more weight on the knee than on the hand. For the side bend, sit on one side and align heel of hand and heels of the feet. The pelvis is behind that. First, you have a preparation exercise to find if it's the right alignment. Then you can go into the side bend, head down, hips up, hips down, head up. If you want, you can go one more and do the star preparation. Let's go to the other side. First, to check if the alignment is okay. If the hand is far enough, if the feet are stacked completely, then you go into the side bend. And if you want to go further, you can do a star prep. For the boomerang, you cross your legs, you lift them up and over, change the cross, come up into a teaser, and lift the legs into you before you bring everything down. You circle the arms and reach your spine. I think 2 repetitions on each side are enough. Last one. And we'll go straight into the seal. Hug the midline with your knees. Try to push your upper arms against the inner thighs. Roll your shoulders back and roll your pelvis and spine. Then I'm trying an old exercise which is not very often done with clients, the crab. You lift your spine and hips. Then I think we're going for a couple of push-ups. Rolling through the spine, walking 4 steps forward and do 1 push-up. And around my spine, I try to roll through the spine and do 2 more push-ups. I lift my hips and spine. Then I roll through my pelvis, spine, and head for 3 push-ups. And that completes the classical mat order. At the end, I lift my arms and my spine. I try to maintain my weight in the heels.